learn how to create these 5 different motion graphic techniques in DaVinci Resolve. All right, so the first one I have over here is this one. Let me just go ahead and play this. Here you can see that it has these background animations going on. So we're going to see how to create this. So first of all, let's go ahead and create a new fusion composition. We're just going to name this as 1. Let's go into it. And let's drag in a background. So let me just quickly connect this. And let's also go ahead and drag the text and connect it with the background. So first of all, I'm going to write X over here. And I'm just going to go ahead with the default Open Sans font, but you can go ahead and choose any font that is like this or similar to this, because we need this type of Phoenix. So I'm going to go with bold right now, and I'm going to keep this at 0.05. All right, so the next thing is make sure that you have your text selected and press Ctrl space on your keyboard and search for duplicate. Here you will see that we have this duplicate. So first of all, let's go ahead and set the copies at 10. Then I'm going to set this x-axis at 0.394. And now let's go into the jitter, and over here, let's select 2000. And I'm going to create a keyframe at 0. So let's go ahead, create a keyframe and go all the way to the end and set this to 2030. All right. And now let's go ahead and change this as well. Let's set this to 0.948 and the y-axis at minus 0.367, like this. So let's just go ahead and play this to see how this looks. And here you can see this is the effect that you will get. So this is how it looks at the moment. So let's just simply go ahead and add another text, which will be our main text. That will be on the screen. So let's just go ahead and type in graphics. Set this to extra bold and increase the size. So this is just text that we have at the moment. We also need to add another one. So let me just quickly go ahead and copy this, paste this over here, and connect this to the merge. And here you will see we have text. I'm just simply going to change this to a plus sign like this. And let's just go with bold and decrease the size to 0.03. And now I'm going to set this to 0.502. And the copies to 8. And let's also go over to the jitter section and set this to 0.869 and the y-axis at minus 0.266. So let's just go ahead and play this now. Here see we get our effect, and of course you can use this in the background for any video that you want. I just have this text at the front. You can of course go ahead and use this behind an image, or you can use this behind a video. So this was it for the first effect. Let's go on to the second one. So first of all, let me show you how it looks like. So here you can see this is a simple effect with some lines over here and some pop-up effect with the circles. So let me just go ahead and show you how to do this. So for this, let me create a new fusion composition, add in a background. So let me just connect this. And for the background, I'm going to set this at gradient. And over here, let me change the color to this one. You can go ahead and copy this from here. And for the second one, I'm going to go ahead and use this color. You can copy this as well. So now that we have our background, let's add a text. Let's write this. And I'm going to set the font at impact and increase the size to 0.25. Here you can see this is how our text looks like. Now drag this background over here and change the color to white. And also drag this polygon, connect it with the background, and connect the background with the merge. Now you can simply select your polygon and create some lines like this. So you can create some lines like this. And now what you need to do is set the border width at 0.01 and make sure you have this solid unselected. And you can select this so that you don't get any problems with the line once it's animating. And you can see that this does not look much nice. So you can just go ahead and change this. Of course, you can go ahead and play around with this, but I'm going to keep this as it is. Go over to 0 and go ahead, select the keyframes, make sure the position and the length both are at 0. So now let's go ahead at 30 and change this to position 1 and length 1. Now let's go ahead and play this. So you can see this is how it looks. And of course, we are getting this line. So we're getting this line, which is not looking much interesting. So let me just go ahead and change the keyframe like this. Now you can see how this looks. And of course, you can do it over here as well. All right, so we have this. Now let's go ahead and add another background. And we're going to do the same process, but this one will be over here. So let me just quickly go ahead and do this. You can follow along just like we did with the first one. Right, so here you can see it looks much better now. Now, one other thing that you can do is go over to spline, select both of these, make sure you have them all selected and press S on your keyboard. Now, if you play this, this looks much better now. I'm just going to keep this as it is for now. Let me just go ahead and move this. And now what we're going to do is add some pop-up effects with circles. So once again, just like we did before, we're going to add this background, change the color to white. And this time, I'm going to add this ellipse. Now for the ellipse, first of all, let me set the expression. Now what this does is it makes our lives easier. So just go ahead and follow along and change this to 0.1. Now you can see both of these are changed, the height and the width. We don't need to do it manually again and again. So this is the advantage of using this expression. Now for just go ahead and unselect solid and once again change this to border width to 0.01. And now let's go ahead and connect this. So here you can see we have our circle. All right, select your ellipse now. And now let's go ahead over at 20 or let's go over at 30 where our lines are ending because we need to add this effect once our lines are over. So at 30, let's go ahead and create a keyframe at height. So I'm going to create this keyframe at height and another one at height as well. But in the first one, I'm just going to change this to 0. So let's see. This is how it will appear. And now what we can do is set the soft edge at 0.12. Here you can see we get a nice looking pop-up effect. Of course, you can go ahead and play around with this, see where it looks better. So what if we go ahead with 0.2? Let's see. Well, let's keep this at 0.12. This is it where it looks much better. And now let's go ahead and copy this, connect it with the merge. And this time I'm going to change the position. And in the keyframes, first of all, make sure all of these are unselected. Just select your ellipse. And over here, just go ahead and move all of these keyframes a bit further. Just make sure all of them are selected. All right, so here you can see it looks much better now. So this was our second effect. Now let's go over to the third one. Now, as you can see, this is fairly simple. Let me just go ahead, create this fusion composition, and let's just simply add this background. So this will be a quick one because this is a simple effect. Let's just simply type in motion, set this to light, connected with our background. So here you can see. And now what we can do is we can create a duplicate connected with the merge, write graphics over here. So make sure that we set it properly. And now what we can do is we can add a mask. We can add a mask and connect it with this text, set the height and the width accordingly. As you can see, like this. All right, so now time to set the keyframe. So first of all, let me just set the keyframe at 20. Or let's just go with at 20 and let's set the keyframe in the text section. Under the layout section, let's set the keyframe over here. Okay, so let's just go over at 10 and set a keyframe over here. And then at 30, let's go ahead and change the y-axis. Move this out. And at the same time, what we need to do is add another text right here. And this time we're going to write design. So, of course, you can go ahead and do this for any text. I'm just typing in these two. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. This time I'm going to just copy this mask, paste it over here, connect it with the text. And now what we're going to do is, as soon as this graphics disappears, we want this design to enter in. So at 30, I'm going to create a keyframe again in the layouts, but for this text. And at 20 over here, I'm going to move this below. And let's see, just go ahead and play this. You can see this is how it looks. And then you can go ahead in the spline panel and hit S on your keyboard to change this. Easy in this, and you can see this is how it looks. So this was our third effect. Now on to the fourth one, which is this neon lights. This is how it will appear. Let me just show you again. So this is how it looks like. Let's just go ahead in Fusion. All right. This time, once again, I'm going to add this background connected, set the gradient, set it to gradient, and add colors. All right. So first of all, let's go with this one. You can copy this. And for our second color, let's go ahead and type in this. All right, so we have our background. Let's just go ahead and add a text. All right, and let's go ahead, write neon lights, and change this to raise italic. And now I'm going to increase the size so that this fits in the screen and change the color to flat, like this. Now let's copy the text, paste it over here. And this time I'm going to change the color to something bright. You can, of course, go ahead, choose any color, but I'm going to go ahead with this blue one. And now once we have this text selected, just simply go ahead and type in glow and add this glow under this text and make sure that this is at 10. Now, once again, select your control space and add in another glow. But this time, let's set this to 50. And once again, we're going to do it for the third time. And this time, I'm going to set this to 200. And here you can see we have our neon effect. Now let's go ahead and add a keyframe over here in text. Let's just go ahead and set a keyframe at 0 and set this to 1 right here. So this is how it looks like. And at 30, let's go ahead in the shading for this text. Add the opacity, set the keyframe on opacity, move a keyframe, set it to 0, move another keyframe, set it to 1. Once again, and once again. And now let me just play this to show you how this looks like. So here you can see we have our neon lights effect. Now for the final one, which we have is this title effect. So here you can see we have a title that is coming in with a blur effect. So go ahead and create a new Fusion tab. And this time I'm just simply going to add this text, connect this over here. Let's type in the name, set the size, and over here just simply go ahead and right click in the text box and select follower. And over here, you'll see that we have the option of modifiers. So in this and under the shading section, under the shading section, just go ahead and go over to this softness section. Make sure that this is at 20 by 20. You can see we have this glowing, this blurry effect. And let's go over at 10 and set it back to 0. You can see we have this cinematic type effect. And what we can do is we can add those graphics as well. You can just go ahead and add the graphics like this. Just make sure that the color is white. And just simply create some lines like this. Make sure you have shift selected while doing so, because this will give you a better symmetry. And now once again, we have already done this. So you can just go ahead and set the border width 0.01, same thing. And what you can do is just create keyframes. So first of all, let me create keyframe over here at length, and at 0, let's set this to 0 as well. And let's go over to spline, select the polygon and hit S so that this eases in. And here you can see this is how it looks. One other thing that we can do is copy this, paste this over here, connect it with the merge, go over to this merge, and over here you can just simply select these clips and you will get a graphic at this side as well. So there you have it. This was the final effect. And these were 5 different effects that I showed you, or 5 different motion graphics that I showed you that you can create in DaVinci Resolve using the Fusion tab. So I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one.